Hey everyone, I've got a really nice $50 budget mechanical keyboard to review and mod here today. This is the BW-KB1 from BlitzWolf. It's got 63 keys, making it a 60% layout. It uses a USB-C connection, but also supports Bluetooth so you can use it wirelessly for a cleaner aesthetic. It comes with double-shot ABS keycaps and has full RGB backlighting with multiple interactive lighting modes. I got mine with Gateron Red switches, but they also offer blue and brown switches as well. This board also supports Windows, Mac, Android, and iOS, making it super versatile. This is a 60% board, but still retains the arrow keys on the bottom right, so it still has a really nice balance of functionality and compact form factor. The case is low profile, which some people may dislike, but I think it works really well on this board since some of the RGB can shine through onto your desk. On the back, you've got the on-off switch for Bluetooth as well as some flip-up feet in case you want to have a steeper typing angle. What's really nice is that they included separate rubber feet so that both typing angles will be super stable. A really cool feature that isn't too common on boards with feet like that. Inside of the box, you've got the support manual with multiple languages and whatever this mood card is. Not really sure what that's about. Behind the top of the box, you'll find a keycap puller and the USB-A to USB-C cable. So full disclosure, this board was sent to me for free from Banggood, but that won't affect my review in any way. They said I could say what I want and do what I want with this board, and all comments are my own, so this will just be like any other board review I do. For those of you that aren't familiar with Banggood, they're an online retailer and they sell pretty much everything from clothes, jewelry, toys, electronics, and especially keyboards. Plus, since they're partnering with me for this video, for the entire month of January, you can use the link and discount code in the description to get a discount on the board, bringing the price down from $52.99 to only $45.99, making it an even better deal. Anyways, back to the review. To switch the board from wired to Bluetooth mode, there's a small switch on the back that you'll need to toggle. Once that's on, you hold Function and Tab, then select which profile you want and you're good to go. According to BlitzWolf, the battery lasts up to 20 hours with LEDs on, but it technically lasts a lot longer than 20 hours because the LEDs will automatically turn off after 1 minute of inactivity. A pretty smart feature. Looking at the keycaps, they're made of ABS plastic and are OEM profile, which is nice and comfortable since they're sculpted. They're also double shot, so no risk of wearing away the letters. They're only 1mm thick on the sides, but that's pretty standard for cheap keycaps like this. Popping off all of the keycaps, you can see the Gateron Reds with clear tops to really take full advantage of the RGB on this board. So just for fun, I'm going to be taking this board apart and modding it. This includes adding foam to the case for a less hollow sound, desoldering and lubing the switches for a deeper sound and smoother feel, as well as removing the pinging sounds of the springs. Plus, we're going to be tuning the stabilizers to get rid of any rattle on those larger keys. Stick around to the end of the video for a side-by-side sound comparison. Now, this is definitely not something that you have to do, but I just enjoy taking apart boards and modifying them to bring out their full potential and see how nice they can really be. If you like the results and want to do this yourself, feel free to follow along, or you can just live vicariously through me and enjoy the video. Looking on the back of the PCB, you can see that the pins have been clipped on some of the switches, which I assume is to prevent interference with the battery. I made sure to mark the locations of these switches so I can put them back in the correct spot later. Alright, now let's get the soldering iron fired up and desolder all these switches. Also, don't forget to use a fan so that you're not breathing in all the solder fumes. I'm going to be using this solder sucker to essentially vacuum up any solder on the connections after I heat them up with my iron. Now let's pop open the switches and separate all the components so that we can lube them. First, I'm going to bag lube the springs with some Krytox 105 oil. I'm just going to dump all the springs in a bag, add a few drops of oil, and shake. Since I have linear switches, I'm going to be using Krytox 205G0 to lube the stems and housings. I'm just going to brush the rails on the side of the housings as well as the center post, and then fully cover the stem, legs and all. Now that the switches are lubed, let's move on to tuning the stabilizers. These are plate mounted stabilizers, so they're just clipped in and can be removed with a small flathead screwdriver. Let's take these stabilizers apart and separate the wires. All you have to do is rotate the housing 90 degrees and the wire will pop out. It looks like only the spacebar wire is pre-lubed, but I'm going to wipe them all down just in case. I've got an old iPhone here, and I'm going to use the screen on it to make sure that the wires are straight. I'm also going to use some pliers with electrical tape on them to bend the wires, since it's pretty painful in the fingers to bend them by hand. Okay, on to the housings. Again, I'm going to be using Krytox 205G0 and then generously coating the inside with it. If you look at the stems for the stabilizers, you can see there are two protruding feet at the bottom. These make the bottom out sound higher pitched and not as satisfying, and also makes it feel kind of mushy, which is not as nice. I'm going to be snipping these off with some flush cut clippers and then lubing them with Krytox 205G0 as well. When putting the stem back in the housing, make sure that the side of the stem with two holes lines up with the opening of the housing. Now let's take the ends of our wires and dip them in dielectric grease, making sure to get the grease on the part around the bend, since that's where the wires clipped into the housings. Then we're going to put them back in and repeat for the rest of the stabilizers. Looks like the housings for the spacebar stabilizers are also pre-lubed, so I'm going to wipe that off as well. I've added some fabric tape, aka cut up band-aids, to the points on the plate where the stabilizers clip in so that the housing doesn't rattle in place. One thing I forgot about was that since this is a low profile board, the tape will be visible when you look at the board from the side. I'd recommend using some black electrical tape instead, so it doesn't show up as easily. Finally, let's pop these switches back on and solder them onto the board again. When soldering, it's always good to test the connections, so let's double check before we put the board back together. Just to be thorough, I added some neoprene foam to the back of the board to get rid of any hollowness. Now we can finally put the board back together and hear how it sounds before and after the mods. So yeah, the board sounds pretty dang nice. It just goes to show how far a little bit of time and effort can go. If you already have a soldering iron, I definitely recommend modding the board. Krytox Lube is only about $10, so even with that, the board is still really cheap. And coming in at only $50, it's packed full of features. It's a 60% board for that small form factor, but you still get to keep your arrow keys. The keycaps are really clean, minimal, and easy to read, which I really appreciate. It uses a USB-C port, so you don't have to worry about searching around your house for those old micro or mini USB cables. But it also works with Bluetooth, and you can connect up to 5 devices to it at a time. It comes in black or white and has full RGB backlighting, so you can make it match any aesthetic. The RGB as well as the keys are even programmable through a Windows app that you can download from their website. I've talked this board up a whole lot, so let's go over the things that I don't like. The low profile case is nice if you want to show off the RGB lights, but it does show off any band-aid modding that you might do and will also show dust a lot easier. The /question key is also in a really weird spot, being on the far right of the keyboard, past the arrow keys. This should be configurable in the custom app, but I have a Mac, so there's no way of getting that software for me. Definitely points lost on the compatibility aspect. The keycaps, while looking nice and minimal, are real fingerprint and oil magnets. I constantly find myself having to wipe off oil from the keys, and I don't really even sweat that much. However, they're also removable, and the board comes with a keycap holder, so you could splurge a little bit and buy yourself some nicer caps. All that being said, I definitely recommend this board to anyone who wants a taste of mechanical keyboards but doesn't want to spend a lot of money. It's definitely a great entry-level board and is also extremely versatile. Whether you're stationary or always on the go, whether you use a Mac or a PC, this board's got you covered. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed my review and mods of the BlitzWolf KB1. Please leave a like on the video if you liked it, and also consider subscribing. Links to the board can be found in the description if you want to purchase one yourself. And don't forget, during the entire month of January, if you use the coupon code also in the description, you'll get a nice discount on it too, making it an even better deal. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.